All right, welcome back to the FantasyLabs Podcast. This is Bryan. I'm here with Jay. It's Tuesday night. What's up, man?
How's it going, Bryan? It's been a while. I'm not used to
Wow.
seeing you not in tropical areas or wherever
I know.
you're at these days.
I know. I was sending you pictures to make you all jealous. I hope it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to admit that on air.
But you kind of just did.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm bad at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looked nice for sure. Now we're just back to grinding another 11-game slate.
Yeah, these 11-game slates, so fun. But at least we got
Yeah.
All-Star break approaching, so that'll be good.
It's coming. Yeah, I hope you're practicing Mario Tennis.
Oh, I am.
Bryan thinks he can beat me in Mario Tennis, and I'm ready to. We should film that.
We
Film our
will.
first match.
You want to Twitch it?
Yeah, sure. I'm
Yeah.
hip with the Twitch. Yeah, we can do that. Periscope it, whatever.
Nah, man. The gamers use Twitch. They don't use Periscope, Jay.
Yeah, but I'm not a gamer. I'm old. I play N64. This is
Yeah,
old
they-
school.
All right. Well, we'll Twitch and Periscope it then. All-Star break. We're
I
gonna.
think we need like a VHS tape where you just mail it to some followers.
That's an idea. All right. But until then, I guess we could break down some NBA.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. So we got 11 games, these 11-game fun slates. So we'll run through them. We'll keep on pushing. So first game we'll talk about is Atlanta-Philly. Over-under here is 207, and Atlanta's 8-point favorite. It's actually a fairly high over-under for a Philly game as compared to earlier in the season. The power of Ish. So I'll kick it to you. Do you have any news and notes?
Yeah, it's all about the ish. For the Hawks side, we just got Tiago Splitters out with a right hip injury. And on the Sixers side, Covington was questionable with an illness, but he will play. And then we got word that their starting lineup, they're bringing Okafor back, so it will be Ish, Stauskas, Covington, Nerlens, and Okafor.
Gotcha. Cool. So let's start with Atlanta side. Obviously, Teague really balled out last game. Are you seeing? Obviously, this is a great matchup against Philly. You kind of riding that hot hand, or any of these other Atlanta guys in the good matchup?
Yeah, definitely. I'm on Teague pretty hard. He's 5,900 on DK, and I think the ankle injury looks like a thing of the past. He looks really healthy right now. Obviously on a roll here, and that's just such a cheap price with a really juicy matchup here on the road too. So 8-point spread isn't that bad, and yeah, I'm ready to roll him in cash with no concerns really.
Yeah, same. He's pretty easy cash. What about Millsap and Horford? Millsap's been down a little bit, but juicy
He
matchup.
has, yeah.
Prices still isn't that bad, 8-1.
Right. I don't mind him, but I think this is one of those situations we have an 11-game slate. I don't really want to load up on one team.
Sure.
It like always backfires, I feel like, in scenarios like this. So, blowout could happen, whatever. But I love Millsap and especially Horford. I like Horford a lot in tournaments here. Obviously, the minutes will be his main drawback, but the matchup is pretty much as good as it gets. Philly's 29th in defensive efficiency against centers. So I'm looking for a big game for him. And, I don't mind Bazemore eating the spot, really. It's just kind of picking your spots based on position and what you're going elsewhere.
Yeah, for sure. I think that he's a pretty good tournament play. And then if you kind of want to get cute, I think Teague will be the hot hand, and he'll be really high owned after that last game. So if you think it's going to be a blowout, maybe Schroeder's going to get some fourth-quarter run.
Yeah, definitely. I think Schroeder has some really good upside here, especially if it does turn into a blowout here because his same matchup Teague does.
Yeah, he'll be very contrarian because it'll be the opposite of everyone on Teague. So
right, and that's why I kind of like Horford or Millsap in tournaments, just kind of pivot off Teague. I agree. I think we'll have a pretty high ownership, especially at that price.
Yeah, exactly. So moving to Philly, any of these guys interest you, especially the big lineup makes it kind of interesting here.
Yeah, no, you can't. I'm off Nerlens. We've seen his stats increase with Okafor off the bench. So first game with them two together again. I'm hesitant to kind of deploy either of them in cash for sure. I think Ish is kind of the guy. I think
in tournaments, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's a need to go him in cash. He's 6,900. He's still producing, and I don't necessarily mind the matchup too much. I think he'll do fine, but I don't think he's a guy up high on your cash game radar, especially with Teague being one of your point guards.
Yeah, agreed. It's just the guy that I'm looking on this team really in tournaments. I'm not super on Okafor or Nerlens really in either contest format. The only other guy that I have a little exposure to in tournaments is Covington.
Yeah, Covington's been solid, and he's keeping that starting spot, which is good to see. And
Good
then
minutes, yeah. And he
right.
played well against Golden State in that game that was surprisingly close. So,
So
in pretty good form here. So I don't mind a little
he
exposure there.
he's only 5,100 on FanDuel too. That's kind of hard
Yeah,
to pass up in most situations.
yeah, we got to get two of them. Yeah, for sure. Cool. Let's keep on moving. Next game we'll talk about is Cleveland, Charlotte, which there's no line here. So probably because of Charlotte just continually beat up. But kick it to you with those news and notes.
Yeah, on the Cavs side, we got no injuries. On the Hornets, we got quite a few. Kemba is questionable with a sore left knee. Batum is doubtful with a sprained right toe. Jeremy Lamb is questionable with a sprained right toe. You think they kicked each other's toes or something?
Yeah,
That has to be it, right?
Yeah, the footsie's under the table. It
Playing
got out of
soccer
control.
on a day off or something.
Yeah.
And then Zeller is questionable with a sprained right shoulder. So we got four guys who.
Did you say Lamb already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, questionable.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Obviously, it shapes a bit, but luckily for our purposes, they are playing Cleveland, so this isn't a great spot to target Charlotte in general. We saw Lane draw that start last game, and it was really bad. He didn't do it. He didn't play that much even at all. So I'm not really looking at anyone too much. I mean, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, this is his first defensive test of the season, you could say, after
LeBron,
the late. Yeah. So, I wanted to look at his price.
He's 45 on DK.
Yeah. So I'm fine with him there. And he's 5,800 on FanDuel. So
that's a little much.
Yeah. I'm not totally on board with that, but I think on DK, the minutes he's kind of going, he hit 2 threes on Sunday. What is he thinking?
He's awesome, man. Best player in the NBA.
Yeah. Threes.
Yeah. The reign of Draymond's over now that MKG enjoyed his time.
I love MKG. I hope so. I would love nothing more than that.
Yeah. No, I do love MKG. Yeah, you're right. He's very playable on DK, so I like that call. And still, he only got 28 minutes, but still, higher than we expected. It wasn't the 38 or whatever, but still solid minutes. He's going to get them again with all these injuries. Really, this game is kind of a stay away in general for me, though. I don't know what the line's going to be. I think it could be a blowout, especially if Kemba.
We're considering Batum is out since he's out. So I agree. If Kemba's out, there's no way this.
It'd be what, like a 16, 17 point spread, probably.
I don't think it'd be that much, but it'd be big, 12 and a half, 13 or so. So
yeah,
it is on the road for Cleveland still, but
true.
But what do you do if Kemba's out, Batum's out, and Lamb's out? Lynn is he's going to have all he can handle in terms of minutes and kind of usage there as well. It's kind of hard not to consider him.
Yeah, see, I think in that case I wouldn't consider him in cash just because of it. That's just such a risky situation. I just can't predict that game, so I roll them out a lot in tournaments, but I don't feel comfortable going to cash.
So Lynn is shooting guard on FanDuel now.
So that makes him more playable.
I agree, yeah. So I think it's something to monitor. Just if these questionable tags are ruled out, then I think Lynn kind of bumps up there. You got Brian Roberts handling a bit more minutes, Troy Daniels a little bit more, but
I guess Lynn gets cashy on FanDuel if
he does. It's a tough overall spot, and especially with how bad they'll be playing. That's the biggest thing. It's okay, he's gonna have to do a lot, but he's also gonna be covered because there's no one else to really do much.
Yeah, and he struggles against starters anyway. So more tournament spot really all around. MKG, I think, to play. Yeah.
And then the Cleveland side, we've seen Kyrie, Love, and LeBron look great under LeBron Lou. So they're really playing well right now, and I think they're all cash game options.
I think so too. Obviously, be worried about the blowout, but I think even in 3 quarters they would be fine.
No, I do too. Yeah, and I wouldn't go 2 of them in cash necessarily, especially with the blowout looming. But we've seen LeBron; he's been really overlooked in cash lately on both sides. You have a lot of just people automatically going to Durant, but LeBron's just playing great right now. And obviously Love, they're focusing on getting Love the ball a bit more, which is great. So, I said on the last pod, I think I was on, that Love had a good spike for the next few games for sure, just with his price and relative ownership, low ownership. So I think he's in a good spot again, obviously. And then as well as Kyrie here too. So I like all three. And then what about Tristan? He's kind of the more stronger cash game play with all things considered, price.
Yeah, I like Tristan a lot in cash for sure. I would lean LeBron more tournaments than cash, but I think Love and Kyrie at their prices, I think that they're so significantly underpriced. Where they're in cash kind of regardless of the blowout factor, where LeBron is probably properly priced. Love and Kyrie and probably Tristan are all pretty significantly underpriced.
Tristan's underpriced big time on FanDuel. He's still 4,800. And his big minutes he's getting lately, I think it's a pretty good spot here against the Hornets.
Yeah. Cool. Let's keep on going. Detroit at Boston is the next game we'll hit on. Over-under's 210. Boston's 4-point favorites. So I'll kick to you for news and notes. And I think Boston's on a back-to-back here?
Yeah, the Celtics are on a back-to-back. Crowder is the only injury. No, I think he was expected to play tonight.
He is playing.
He is playing? Okay. So we'll assume he'll play in this one as well with his bruised right shin. So, no injuries on either team that are notable here.
Cool. So start with Detroit. What are your thoughts on these guys? Any cash?
I think Drummond's the guy you can look at. He's kind of, he's getting the ball a lot more. He's rebounding well. He's kind of back to being Drummond. He kind of slumped there for a bit, especially minutes-wise.
Yeah.
I kind of like this matchup for him, going against the kind of undersized Celtics front court.
And his salary hasn't caught up to that yet.
Right.
Very cheap for Drummond from where he was earlier.
Yeah, and he's 87 on FanDuel. So I think both sides. I think he's a fine play. I'm not really looking at anyone else cash-wise on this team against Celtics. It's a high total, and obviously Boston plays at a very fast pace, but they're still solid all-around defense.
Yeah, I agree. I think Drummond's the play in cash. We'll go over the kind of position by position because I am curious to kind of see where he falls as far as the value of the center position,
right?
Whether you want to pay up or down. But I think he's cash game playable potentially. Caldwell Pope, still seeing high minutes, so I always don't mind him, especially in tournaments. So
Pope's
a play for me.
It's been usually nice. I just worry about kind of the individual matchup here.
Sure, against Bradley, yeah.
Right. So it's just tough from a matchup standpoint for a lot of these guys going against Boston. Although they're implied at a really high point total. So I bet this makes me lean more kind of tournament plays like Pope or even Reggie maybe. And I'm not really looking at Marcus Morris or Ilyasova. I mean, I guess Stanley Johnson, but his minutes are just really shaky and
he's been lower a little bit. Yeah, he was a play for a while, but they've been back down. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Van Gundy would keep him in the other night. He's playing pretty well off the bench, and he came out of the game with like 8 minutes left or whatever, and that closing stretch. And until he does, he's kind of just a shot in the dark tournament play with still has upside, but it's just not likely at this point.
Yeah, Drummond's really the only surefire guy that you really want to have a lot of exposure to, and then you could sprinkle some Reggie and Caldwell and those guys in. Boston side, back-to-back, not a great matchup either. Detroit's not terrible defensively, especially, with Reggie and Caldwell Pope for Isaiah. So what do you think about these guys?
Their wing is solid defense. So, Boston's in a spot right now where we've seen them in a few times this season where they're fully healthy. And it's really hard to decide what to do with them. And I think on this big of a slate, you don't really need to go any of them because they all have minutes downside.
Yeah.
They're on a back-to-back. They just have a lot of capable bodies to fill in these positions to where you're not getting a guy playing 36 minutes in this game. They have a high implied total, very high, really juicy over-under. But kind of you're picking your spots, and I think there's some risk with every player really on this team in terms of price to output ratio that you don't want to risk on this slate.
Yeah, they're all tournament plays for me. There's no cash. But I do think there is some pretty good tournament options here. My favorite and probably, not one, I don't know, he might be up there on the slate is Marcus Smart at 5'4". I think is a really good tournament play.
Yeah,
especially
I agree.
if he gets committed against Bryan and Jay's in the that second unit.
Yeah, Smart. They've been playing a lot more kind of 3-guard ball, which I think they can do as in this game as well. So yeah, I could definitely see Smart having a big game. And I mean, the only guy cash wise, I think you look at Isaiah more in good matchups. I wouldn't call this like a great matchup for Isaiah, but I think Avery Bradley's that one guy that's kind of somewhat safe, at least in terms of minutes, where you can kind of consider him a little bit playing at shooting guard, which is obviously a bit more difficult to fill in most nights.
Yeah, and he is a good tournament play as well. His minutes are consistent. His production is not, but he does have 40-point fantasy potential, and his salary, especially on DK at 5'7". What is it on FanDuel? Do you have it up?
Yeah, I forgot who you were talking about.
Avery Bradley.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, 5,800. Yeah, I usually play him more on FanDuel, anyways, just because
you had to get it too. Yeah. So yeah, he's in play. Cool.
Any Olynyk in case the bigs kind of get a little bit of foul trouble against Drummond?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't love that, but it's okay. Yeah. Keep on moving. Indy Brooklyn is the next game we'll hit on. Over-under's 200.5. Indiana is 7-point favorites. So injuries, news and notes.
Yeah, Jan Mahimi is out again with a sore lower back. And then Rodney Stuckey's still out with the ankle injury. On the Nets side, big injury news. Willie Reed is questionable with a groin injury, which could shape the whole landscape and the rest of the season, arguably. So
yeah, probably.
Pretty big there to monitor.
Yeah, of course. So we'll start on Indy side, and apparently Indy has the best player in the NBA right now. Miles Turner, 6'3", cash against Brooklyn. Yes, please.
Right, yeah, Miles. I deployed him last night, even against Cleveland in that tough matchup, which was not my favorite thing to do. But I mean, Miles is so talented that
he is. Yeah.
That block on LeBron, I think I watched it like 30 times.
Yeah, I was telling Justin. As a Hornets guy, he was obviously when Winslow fell to 9, he was. I wanted Winslow, but going into the draft, Turner was the guy that I wanted the Hornets to get at 9.
I mean, Turner was way overlooked. People who watched him in college kind of knew he was a beast. He's a monster. I mean, he's a really good player. He definitely got
like 8 minutes a game. So.
Yeah, but that happens to a lot of college guys. I mean, look, Kyrie and stuff. I mean, it's not like new that.
But no, it's just because he happened to play with Rick Barnes before he got fired. And Rick Barnes is notorious for making guys
not helping
in college. Yeah, Kevin Durant didn't win a national championship.
Yeah, I mean,
which is amazing.
Barnes definitely. Yeah, we don't have to get into him too much.
Yeah, but Miles Turner, yeah, for sure, 6'3" against this Brooklyn, not great front.
Yeah, 5,500 on FanDuel against Brooklyn.
Easy, right?
So I mean. And Mahimi's out, so it just stabilizes him a bit more. And then, how about Jordan Hill just crushing the Cavs? That's something I did not see coming. He was 50% owned.
Yeah, I really didn't agree with the percent owned. I thought that was
wild.
That was really points chasey because of that game against Denver, but it paid off. I don't agree with the process, but the results were there.
Yeah, I think on a different slate it would have been a bad play, but kind of given the options and the overall slate, I wasn't like too surprised to see him 50%, especially since a lot of people do point chase. But I mean, it's not like he was expensive. You weren't paying a lot for him, and the other center options. I mean, you were kind of over either like paying up for Drummond or risking it on Kufis starting when honestly I thought they'd start Gay at the 4 and call Kufis off the bench. So there were a lot of factors there, but yeah. Either way, Hill's 4,700, and we're assuming he's going to start again. It's tough not to go him on FanDuel. How do you fade that?
Yeah, I think Turner and Hill are playable in both contest formats, right? Pretty easily.
Yeah, I think for sure. Jordan Hill's he's been solid as a starter, and
they're very underpriced. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just silly underpriced. So. It's a great way to save money. I definitely think that fading kind of these guys in tournaments is a bold move, one that can pay dividends because I expect their ownership. If Hill was 50% owned against Cleveland,
Yeah.
Brooklyn, he's going to be highly owned at that price. And he's still dirt cheap. So
yeah.
And then Monte is kind of on a roll too.
Yeah, he's still pretty underpriced here too at 6'9". He actually came down. He was a 7K against Cleveland, got 41 minutes. He didn't have a great game, but it was against Shumpert. So what do you expect? But now it gets a dream matchup against Wayne Ellington here. So.
Yeah, so I think he's a fine play. I think
he's cash.
I would prefer him tournament, but
I don't mind him in cash or tournament.
I wouldn't go like Monte, Miles, and Hill in cash.
Yeah,
so that's probably the guy I'd throw out the window in terms of cash, just price wise.
Yeah,
and then George Hill I think has tournament value here as well. Really, we're talking about all the stars except Paul George. It's crazy. What happened?
Right. Yeah, so maybe that makes Ellis and George really good tournament plays as Turner and Jordan.
Yeah, I agree. This isn't like a high total game or anything, but they should have no problem getting there against the Nets.
No, Brooklyn's awful. Yeah. Sure. So let's move to Brooklyn side. So obviously Mahimi out. So Jordan Hill starting at center. Brook Lopez. That's a little nice matchup there.
Yeah, absolutely. Brook Lopez. Yeah, he'll be definitely overlooked. I love him as a tournament play, especially considering a lot of people will go Jordan Hill. So you're looking at getting some pretty solid ownership out of.
Is he not cash playable for you?
I mean, I think he is. It kind of looking at the slate.
I think there's probably better values.
I think there are other areas to spend in where you're not going to get a 4,700 guy like Hill at another position. So that's kind of what it comes down to me.
Yeah.
Are you going to find a small forward for 4,700 that's equivalent to Jordan Hill's upside and consistency as a starter? Probably not. So that's where I lean Hill over Brook Lopez in cash, but that doesn't mean Lopez isn't a cash game play.
Yeah, agreed. But he does have a lead upside. He has 60-point fantasy potential, especially in this matchup with, Jordan Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he will be pretty highly owned even in cash. I think it's a great play. It's just me personally, I'd like to spend probably elsewhere and get that value out of Hill that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, for sure. And then kind of just wrapping up Brooklyn, I don't mind some Thad in tournaments. And that's, I guess, about it. Ellington, it was getting above 30 minutes, got less than that, but,
not
11 game slate, you don't need to go there.
No, and I should say for Brook Lopez on DK, you can get away with. I think he's a much stronger play there where you can
center always, yeah, for sure. Okay, let's keep going. Golden State, Washington is
Jordan Hill's a power forward there, so that's DK. I was talking more FanDuel by saying
yeah, for sure. DK, you could easily get them both for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Next game we'll move to is Golden State, Washington. This over-under's huge, 225. Golden State's 11-point favorites. So juicy game here. Any news and notes here? It looks like not a whole lot. Maybe Ezeli.
Yeah, Swag Zeely's been ruled out with that sore left knee. James Michael McAdoo is the new Derek Favors, where he's doubtful every single game. Sprained toes and left foot injury, so not expecting him to play. And then, my bad. Before McAdoo, Chris Humphries is questionable with the knee injury, but I don't think he'll ever play again.
Ever?
It's like reverse jinx because I did this exact same thing to Favors and Josh McRoberts, and the next day they came back. So I'm calling my shot. If it works again, I'm going to legitimately be scared of my power. That if Chris Humphries plays tomorrow, I'm going to go into hiding and just lock myself away.
As you should.
Right? Yeah, I know. So, really, we can expect him out still, as well as McAdoo. So no really big injuries here.
Cool. So let's start on Golden State. Obviously, really, really juicy implied total here. So usual suspects.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the Wizards, so I love targeting them, and I love the
Wizards. We've talked about this literally all year. Wizards, are they good or bad against 3-pointers?
The Wizards? Yeah. They're the worst. Yeah, they're terrible.
And is Golden State good or bad at shooting 3-pointers?
Dre is good. I don't know about anyone else.
Right, this is just like the worst possible matchup for. I mean, obviously, Golden State is like the worst possible matchup for anyone, but Wizards are the worst at 3-point defense, and Golden State is the best 3-point shooting team of all time. So,
Right.
like they might shoot 53s.
Yeah, you'd think for sure. Yeah, there's no reason for them to have bad games here, any of them individually. I mean, it's a great spot.
Yeah.
Really, the only thing is the blowout, but I like that they're on the road, so that helps, I think, a lot for me.
Yeah. So Curry, Dre, Clay, all cash tournament, yes?
Yeah, I think so. I think Curry, just given this slate overall, I think Curry's in a spot where you can afford him. It's been a while since he's been like a core kind of cash game play. I feel like he's been a lot of blowouts, or there's been other, his price, there have been other options, but I think this is one where I think he's up there really high to where, I think it's a smart idea to play him.
Yeah, and I think out of the three, I love Clay tomorrow.
Yeah, Clay should definitely, he's been on fire anyways.
And he's 75 on DK. Where is he on FanDuel?
He's 71. It's about the same as he has been lately. So, yeah, I think that's doable. This is going to be like shooting practice for him.
Yeah, 71 against the Wizards, 3-point defense.
Although
Clay Thompson,
Temple is probably their best defender. I think.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I really think he is. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Dre at 9. Where you cool with that? He would. I'm fine with him in cash, but I think they're all cash playable. But if I had to pick one that was a little more tournament than cash, it would be Dre probably.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Definitely. He threw a perfect game the other night. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Triple-double, 9 for 9 shooting.
Yeah. So, anyone else? Maybe some Harry in tournaments?
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't see the huge upside with Barnes here, and not stable enough for me in cash. It's really the big three.
Yeah, not really upside either. Yeah.
Bogut's minutes aren't great, even with the Zealy out. I think he can pay off his price, but I don't think he'll offer like massive upside that you kind of want from him.
Yeah.
Since you're not going to go him at cash. So.
Right. Moving to the other side, John Wall, has been really, really good lately, even in tough matchups. The OKC game, he still played really well. Toronto, he played well. He's been over 40 fantasy points, and obviously it's not a great matchup, but maybe the fast pace and everything still makes him a pretty solid play at 9-3.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, cheaper on DK. He's 9-7 on FanDuel. So I like him quite a bit as a tournament play. I think the way they're going to kind of hang in this game is obviously through Wall. It's nothing new or anything. But, yeah, he's been playing massive minutes. He's their whole team pretty much right now. Very consistent, very safe. I'd probably rather not play him in cash, but I think he makes for a really good tournament play here.
Yeah, I agreed. And that's kind of about it for me on Washington's side. I would like Gortat if he was getting minutes, but he's not getting them right now. He's below 30 in the last couple, and there's just really no safety or upside in that situation.
And obviously the matchup's tough, and this is a team that can go really small here. That I don't think this is a game where Gortat will play big minutes where you need him to get value out of. So
right,
I'm not really on him, and the rest of the team's pretty bad with Beal on the minutes limit. And
it's just kind of Wall. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to go Dudley in any format, really. So, yeah, pretty much just Wall here.
Okay. Let's keep on moving. Orlando, Oklahoma City is the next game we'll talk about. 211.5. Oklahoma City big favorites here. 13 is the spread. So, kick to you. Any news and notes here, or is it pretty solid?
Solid. The only thing is Andre Robertson is still out with that right knee sprain. So that's it.
Cool. So how are you approaching this game? Let's start with Orlando side. Obviously, we look at these elite teams, and a lot of the elite teams in the NBA are really tough matchups. You think of Golden State, the Spurs, Cleveland, all these games with big spreads. It's usually because of elite defenses. Oklahoma City is that one team that has big spreads, but it's not because of their elite defenses. So it's kind of a sneaky.
Because Westbrook and Durant. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's been like that for a while now. Where the Thunder give up points. I mean, they're fine. Especially with Robertson out, it's not really threatening anywhere to kind of target them.
Yeah. So are you looking at any of these guys, Orlando? I mean, maybe not in cash, but you like them in tournaments here?
Yeah, probably not cash. I like Vooch a little bit, his upside, but it's kind of like, why would you go him when you have Brooke Lopez against Jordan Hill? Kind of thinking like that. It's definitely contrarian here.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, what do you do with Aaron Gordon? He just looked great. He doubled against the Spurs. Although Duncan's out, I don't think the Spurs. I mean, we've seen their defense falter since Duncan's been out. So
I love Aaron Gordon tournaments.
Yeah, I think he's playing well, and he's playing big minutes. Is really the most important thing for him.
As he should
have
been.
Styles. Right.
Should have been for a long time. But I mean, I like a lot of these guys in tournaments. I think Vooch is great in tournaments as a kind of a pivot. He's just $100 less than Brooke Lopez in that dream matchup. So I think that he's a really nice
pivot. Yeah, for sure.
Oladipo I like is a contrarian play at shooting guard if you want to kind of get down from Steph. Play rather.
Oladipo versus Waiters I love. I think you can definitely take advantage of a lower ownership kind of there, just given the spread that people might write him off a bit. But yeah, I agree. Oladipo is probably my favorite tournament play on this team.
Yeah. Aaron Gordon's probably my favorite, but I like Oladipo up there as well. Those are the three for me, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Elf, not super on against Russ or Cameron Payne, really. And no Fournier or any of that for me. So
yeah, Fournier is not playing that much really at all. Hazonia, my boy, is picking up some more minutes there.
Yeah, as he should.
I mean, he should start on any team really.
Play 48 minutes.
To be real, yeah, 48 minutes. He can handle it.
He would if he was on Golden State, he would start instead of Clay, right?
Instead of Curry, you mean? Yeah, he'd run the point.
Okay.
Yeah, he's totally not a defensive liability. That's a misconception. Hazonia is elite defender.
True.
Totally.
Yeah. Now we're on the same page. OKC side. Obviously a good matchup here. Orlando not very good defensively. Even though they are better, I will say, with the Tobias Aaron Gordon tandem. I think they're getting better, but Vooch in the middle is not good. And overall not great. So
Vooch is good when it close to the rim, I think.
Yeah, he's the Pau Gasol guy where he
he can disrupt shots and blocks and the pressure, but as far as overall defense, not strong. Yeah.
And really, Oklahoma City doesn't really matter whether you're good at defense because they're going to score anyway. So
pretty much.
Yeah. So the problem really here for Oklahoma City is not the matchup or the spread really, because I'm not terribly worried about any of that. It's just the price. Russ is $11K on DK.
Yeah, I think it's the same as the last few times. I think Durant's the play on DK and Russ is the play on FanDuel. And especially for a lot of you guys who play both sites, I like kind of thinking of it as that way. And kind of, you're not like hedging, but you're getting a piece of both players. Assuming, if you get similar action on both sites in cash, I love kind of just taking the guy who's more price points better on each site. So, roll Westbrook on FanDuel where he's cheaper. Well, he's still more than Durant, but cheaper than DK.
Yeah.
Relative to everything. So that's kind of how I've treated them lately.
Yeah.
Just kind of roll one on one site each, and that's how you get exposure to them.
Yeah. Did you read Zach Lowe's article on the Thunder today?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, so he was talking about the Thunder and they're kind of, whether they could be contenders this year is obviously not about fantasy basketball, but kind of a cool thing that he noticed is that Billy Donovan has really put the offense into Westbrook's hands more so than Scott Brooks ever had. Westbrook and Durant kind of had an even split of, who initiated the offense, whereas this year Westbrook has, increased. He's at almost 65-70% of initiating the offense in the pick and roll and putting Durant on the other side, on the weak side, just because that's so dangerous. The guy can't cheat off of him.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, if there's one positive of Billy Donovan, I guess. I still don't like how he keeps them both on the bench for so long.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen in the playoffs, though. I'm
probably right. Yeah. But it's something I think they should explore so they're ready. I mean,
yeah. But anyway, so my point in that is that I think that Westbrook is
for our purposes,
that Westbrook, operating the pick and roll and having that much usage, or not even usage, but just the ball in his hands more than Durant, more so than in previous years, is obviously more important for us as fantasy players. So just a thought. I think Westbrook has a little more upside because of that.
Yeah, I agree. I feel a lot safer and more comfortable having him than Durant anyways.
Yeah.
The problem is there's just more depth at point guard than small forward, which is why I think we utilize Durant more, just being at a thinner position.
Yeah.
Who do you take in cash between Westbrook or Curry?
Oh,
it's tough.
Yeah. That's a great question.
I mean, that'll probably be a decision that most people will have to make.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think I would do my entire lineup and wait until I get to that guard spot.
Yeah.
And if I needed the $300 to what is that the difference? $300 between them?
On FanDuel, Russ is 10.9 and Curry's 10.7, so 200 there.
And on DK it's 300. So I would finish with that and kind of see if I needed the savings, and if so, obviously I would easily go Curry and feel great about it.
I don't think you can't go wrong with Curry, but I probably lean Russ at this point.
I would lean Russ too if I had
a triple-double machine right now. So it's obviously something that's great. And even on DK, you're getting that bonus from him,
right?
With the double-doubles and triple-doubles, obviously too.
Agreed. And then kind of looking elsewhere on OKC, I think Serge Ibaka and Kanter are great tournament plays. If you want to go that way, and that's kind of usually about it.
Will he ever be a cash game play again?
No.
I mean, he's been, the Houston game, 7.9. He just kills people. Like, put all your eggs in Ibaka in a great matchup in cash at a great price too. Like, he's underpriced. And then he just, like, out of all people, he gets you like an 8. And it's brutal. It's something that you don't want to risk too much, really. There's just not enough upside safety, like long-term rolling him out in cash. I agree. I love this spot for him in tournaments for sure, which is pretty much all he is now.
Right. Cool. Let's keep on moving.
Anyone else? Waiters? I saw a bunch of people played waiters in cash the other night.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. Yeah.
Let's keep on going. Miami-Dallas is the next game. There's no spread on this game. Miami is on a back-to-back. I'll kick to you for injuries and news and note.
Yeah, so on the Heat side, they are on a back-to-back. Whiteside was ruled out tonight. I think he's questionable tomorrow officially. There isn't much on him as far as tomorrow, but I'd probably lean that he's more unlikely to play than to play, so we can kind of expect that same Dragic, Wade, Dang, Amari, Bosch lineup. So, and then Tyler Johnson's out at least 2 months, just went through left shoulder surgery. Birdman, I don't know. Who knows with him? He's the new Josh McRoberts. He took over. And then on the Mavs side, we got some interesting. Darren Williams had a hip contusion the other night. He's no timetable to return, but Rick Carlisle expressed, he was concerned about the injury. So we'll kind of see. We'll probably get more news. I would be surprised if he played. Honestly, I'm coming into this game thinking that, it's going to be Barea. My boy, JJ Barea, my favorite player in the league. And Felton,
you love him.
Just love him. Devin Harris, also with the sprained left toe, has no timetable to return. I don't expect him to play in this game either. And then Salah Madri is questionable with right knee, which doesn't do much because we have Zaza back.
Right. Cool. So let's start on Miami side. And really the interesting guy that we have to look at, Bosch is always a great play, especially if Whiteside is out. He's solid. I think that you could play him in cash, and there's better values, but I don't mind Bosch in cash on 11-game slate's tough, but he's fine. He's got upsides to tournaments too. The guy that is really that I'm looking at is Wade. Back to back, he's been killing it lately, but back to back at Dallas. Are you worried about that?
Kinda. I mean, you look at Wade's numbers lately, and he's killing it. But if there's one guy that a back-to-back will affect, I mean, outside like Dirk, obviously,
right,
is Wade. These guys are old, so it's not that like he's not going to give it his all and play well or whatever. It's that he might be fatigued. I mean, that's how it is with a lot of these guys.
So
traveling too. So
does that put him in tournaments for you?
Yeah, I don't think there's a high, strong need to go Wade in cash. He's 73 on DK and 79 on FanDuel, so he's not really like a strong value here.
Yeah, especially not on FanDuel. But on DK, I think he's a great tournament option. I mean, he's been destroying when he's playing, even kind of over minutes. Yeah,
he has. No, he's looked great. It's Amari, man. The pick and roll with Wade and Amari.
Yeah,
on fire.
And speaking of Amari, another great tournament play here.
Yeah, it's sad. I know. Yeah, he's 4,600 on DK, 4,200 on FanDuel. So
yeah,
I suspect his ownership will be up a little, decent, like 10% maybe, and ups or whatever in cash for Amari.
Yeah. And then I think there's other Miami guys that are playable. Dang has been playing well lately, so I think that he is fine value and fine in tournaments. Especially at a kind of a weak position as small forward. And speaking of small forward, Justice Winslow is getting great minutes. So
you're still on the Winslow train?
Yeah, he's been playing big minutes though.
Yeah, but the reason he was ever doing anything with those minutes is because they had nobody else to do it. I don't like his upside at all.
Is that not still the same thing though?
Well, they have Dragic back. When he was putting up good numbers, it was when half their team was dead.
True.
I wouldn't go him in cash.
No, I wouldn't go him in cash either.
Or tournaments.
Really? I don't mind him in tournaments.
He plays big minutes, but I just think at this point it's just more defensive.
Upside's limited, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Dallas, where are you? Are you like any of these guys? Parsons was killing it. He got up into 7K, but now it's down to 6-8. But I still really like him.
Against Miami?
Rather, in terms
Miami,
I never go cash against Miami.
No, yeah, none of these guys. Well, okay, let's say Darren is out. Barea is cheap, and he played a bulk of the minutes. I think he played 31 minutes last game. Darren only played 8, obviously, before he got injured. So it's an interesting play there.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't play guys.
He's 3,900, and they might only have him and Felton.
Yeah, they're just the toughest.
And Jenkins, I guess, there too. John Jenkins for the backcourt, but that's pretty thin.
39. Who's 3,900?
Barea.
Oh, on FanDuel. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'm more fine with that because
this would be probably more of a cash game play if you're like in desperate need to save money. I don't think it'll really shape up like that too much. Where you're looking for Barea.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not going to go him.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry. I misunderstood. He's 48 on DK, which is not
okay. Yeah, you don't need to. Yeah, 39 though is really cheap.
39's okay.
Draws that start there, so.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, really, I try my best not to ever play cash against Miami.
Yeah, it's not great. So I don't like a lot of these guys as far as upside too much, anyways. Just with Miami's slow pace.
Yeah, I don't mind Parsons in the tournament.
Parsons, I think, is fine. I don't think Dirk is too terrible, but I'd rather not go him.
Yeah, it's really kind of Parsons or maybe some Barea on FanDuel where he's cheap.
Yeah, maybe some Barea.
Cool.
I'll run into him in cash. I know that. I always play Barea against Barea in cash. So.
Cool. New Orleans at San Antonio is the next game we'll hit on. Over under here is 207. San Antonio, big favorites here. 13 is the spread. So I'll kick to you. Obviously, both teams are always pretty injured, so I'll give to you.
Yeah, Pelicans side, Tyreek is doubtful with right knee tendonitis, and then the Spurs side, Duncan has been ruled out with the sore right knee, which I don't know why they just haven't ruled him out until the All-Star break.
Yeah,
so they keep doing these game by game, but it's Popovich. Who knows? So hopefully it's nothing. I think there were some rumors that he might have to get surgery.
Oh, really?
I think they were just rumors, though. So.
Yeah. Golden State working their Juju magic again.
I know, right? Yeah.
So how are you approaching this game?
We've seen the Spurs haven't been as Duncan's obviously a huge part of their defense, as we've seen big time lately. So
we're cool with Brow.
I am in tournaments. I think it's fine. I think it's completely fine. It's a beatable matchup for him.
Yeah, I am too. I don't think there's really any cash game plays on New Orleans side. really none of these guys are cash game playable really gets in any matchup, let alone San Antonio.
Right.
But Davis is fine. Drew, I think, is fine still in tournaments.
Yeah, Drew is not bad. He shot 1 for 14 last game.
Yeah, he's
Obviously,
not ever
brutal.
going to be
So
that bad, right?
I think, and just against the Spurs, I think he'll have a very low ownership here.
Yeah, and that was a tough matchup against Memphis. And Rhino, kind of the same thing. Ryan Anderson, it was a tough matchup against Memphis. And
Yeah, I think
have a bounce back spot
some
here.
Davis, Drew, and Rhino are fine tournament plays that'll be as low ownership as we've seen these Pelicans guys as of late, for sure.
Right.
I expect the Spurs to blow them out pretty big time, but on the chance that they don't blow them out, then I think Anthony Davis can have a pretty big game here.
Yeah.
Morris Cole, we've seen he had a huge game last game too. I'm not as high on him overall. This game. Bryce DeJon-Jones, I don't think there's much value as far as upside, and then you're not going to go him in cash versus the Spurs, although some people will, of course.
Yeah, I don't think there's much there other than those guys at the top. San Antonio, how do you feel about these guys in cash?
It's a good spot for them. It's a great spot. It's a great spot for Kawhi. It's a great spot for Aldridge. I think you can have some exposure.
They've just been struggling lately, though.
I mean, yeah, especially
Kawhi.
Yeah.
I think the struggle is kind of taking him out of cash.
Yeah. No, I'm not going anyone in cash, even Aldridge. Even though it's a great spot, I think, but I'm not going in. The Spurs can definitely run away with this one really quick. Anthony Davis starts out 0 for 10 shooting again like he did a few games ago.
Yeah. I honestly don't think there's much here for San Antonio. Maybe some Kawhi and Aldridge in tournaments, but other than that,
not much. This is a game they can go 14 guys, just use their whole bench. Is this a game you're looking at? Boban's been real disappointing lately as far as minutes.
Yeah, but I'm always looking at Boban.
How can you not? So, I'll have some Boban exposure. I think it's been like 3 games in a row or something where he hasn't really played enough at all. But this is a spot I think we're looking at dunking out, and they could crush the Pelicans here. So Boban could see some time, and then we saw Boris Diaw draw the start, but I think it's more just kind of a title he started, but it doesn't really mean much. He still played the same amount of time as David West, so I think either way who starts, I'm not looking at. Just because Diaw's starting doesn't mean I'm looking at him more as him off the bench.
Right. I think the problem with Boban is that, the Spurs were getting up so big in these games earlier in the year, and then they would put Boban in the fourth quarter to just get him some minutes. But then they realized that's really cruel to the other team because he would just destroy them more.
Yeah.
So now Pop doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, and a lot of these, they get up big, and then they kind of falter away a little bit, and so they kind of have to bring in guys other than Boban to sustain their lead. And we've seen him see limited minutes, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're probably just saving Boban for the playoffs against the Warriors.
I would think so. We can assume he'll start in the playoffs if they want any chance of winning. So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's keep on going. We got a couple more games left. Denver, Utah is next game we'll hit on. Over-under is 195. Utah 7-point favorites. So out of the games, kind of looking at the over-unders, this one is under 200. I think it's the first one under 200 actually. So a lot of really high totals tomorrow.
Yeah, the Heat Mavs will probably be under 200 too. But
it's true. But out of the ones right now, this is super low compared to those. So kind of a high scoring or just kind of a high total affair in the slate tomorrow. So this might be a game to maybe look at less closely than the others, but we'll still talk over it. So any news and notes on here?
Just Jameer out with a sprained left wrist again, and that's it.
Yeah. So Denver side, it's kind of hard to get really excited about this matchup.
Yeah, it's a brutal implied team total. Slow pace, obviously, with the Jazz on the road. The Nuggets, much worse on the road. So, it sucks because I really want to go Jokic, obviously, every night.
Yeah, killing it.
Real, true coming out party last game, which was massive. But obviously, you're looking at Gobert down low, so.
I still think you get some Jokic in tournaments, though.
I do too. I really do too. Was it last? Who beat up on Gobert last game? Was that?
It was Powell.
And Karl-Anthony Towns the game before, I believe, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, Gobert's not invincible.
No.
I think Jokic can get that. He can obviously rack up rebounds, get some blocks, and his usage is getting higher. So I think he's fine in tournaments, but his price is also unfortunately climbing. And this isn't the spot where I think you want to take him at an increased price with a decreased matchup as we've seen. So
yeah,
it's tough for this spot for him.
Yeah. That's it for Denver side. Utah side, I think it's a little more interesting. I think you could go some Gordon Hayward. He's been playing really well lately. Put up a 55 DK point game last game. So I think he's definitely in play. Favors.
Yeah, Favors is in play, I think, for sure. This is a cake matchup for these guys going against Nuggets. So I'm looking at really a lot of these guys. I like Rodney Hood quite a bit here, even as a cash game play, maybe on FanDuel.
So Hayward, Favors, Gobert, Hood, I think you're all in cash? Obviously you're not going to go all four.
I don't think I'd go Favors in cash.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go him in cash. I think there's better kind of value at the power forward position, but I love him as a tournament play. I think Gobert is obviously a great tournament play. I think Hood is kind of more of a cash game play. I think he's pretty strong cash game play, but nothing. I don't think he's like too high on the list or anything, but he makes for cash game play. And then Hayward, kind of same boat.
Cool. Yeah, I agree with that. No really need to go any further. I don't think there's really anything below that. Okay, let's keep on going. We got just 2 more games left. Chicago, Sacramento is the next game we'll hit on, and there's no line here. Injury stuff, obviously Boogie, I think, is the one holding up this line.
I think it's Ben McLemore, actually.
Oh, yeah,
he's holding up the line. I think so.
Yeah.
On the Bulls side, no injuries. Nico Mirotic is still out until after the All-Star break. And then, the Kings side, we got DeMarcus Cousins, questionable with the left ankle sprain. Ben McLemore, questionable with a sprained right wrist, although he didn't participate in the Kings light practice today. But we'll know more after their shoot-around on Wednesday.
Cool. Start on Chicago side. So are we assuming Boogie is going to play?
I think it's – I don't know. I'm not ready to kind of declare either side. I think it's tough. I could see him sitting just as much as I could see him playing. I mean, if I had to choose, I would probably lean that he's playing, but I think it's pretty close.
Okay. So let's just start Chicago side. Assuming that let's go both.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So if he's out, obviously Powell and Taj and some of these other guys are great plays here.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a great spot to target these Bulls guys either way, kind of regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, Powell really, I'm not like, or Boogie, I'm not too concerned about his defense as I am the foul trouble that the opposing center can get in.
Exactly, yeah. The foul trouble is what I'm worried about. But even Powell, I don't think necessarily he's a veteran. He's smart. I'm not even too worried about that.
I agree with that.
I think Powell and Taj are great plays, kind of regardless.
I do too, yeah. And then obviously I think Jimmy Butler's a great play as well. Yeah. He's kind of always a cash game play. It's just his price is steep, and you're going to pay up to get him. And a lot of times it's kind of hard to do when you're paying up for some of these other guys like Russ or KD or Curry, whoever on the slate or even any slate, where Butler kind of often gets overlooked there where you just can't really afford him.
Yeah, agreed.
But, and you can, I think this is a great spot.
It's fine, sure.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And really is the only those 3 guys for Chicago for
no Rose tournament exposure?
I mean, a little bit, but I'm just not sure that Rose's ceiling is that high,
That's true. I mean, I agree with you there. Like, it's not a matter of I think he'll break his $6K price on DK. I think he has a good chance to do that, but
I mean, I think Rose is more of a cash game.
Yeah, and I've said that many times, and I never go him in cash. Of course.
No, because he's never a cash game play.
Yeah, but you're right. His makeup kind of makes for more of a cash game play type player.
And his body makes up for a player. Yeah. So which kind of takes him just out of play.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah. Yeah, you're right. His ceiling is nothing massive, but I think this is a good spot for sure for him.
Theoretically,
So,
yeah, for sure.
playing a really, really fast-paced team, I like for Rose here. So,
Yeah.
And then, but I'm with you. Yeah, it's kind of just Butler if you can afford him. I don't mind Butler in tournaments either. And then Taj, I think is Taj still? I think he's still relatively cheap on FanDuel, 5,300. So yeah, I think that's
56 on
fine.
DK. Yeah,
I think that's fine. And then we like Powell a little bit more if Boogie's out.
Yeah, agreed. So going to Sacramento side, obviously Boogie's in. He's definitely play. Chicago.
Oh yeah. The Chicago front court
rebounds. Yeah.
has gotten crushed so many times this season by opposing big men. So, yeah, I like Boogie a lot. There is a little bit of worry, I think, coming off the injury. He's kind of tweaked that ankle a lot this season. So, I don't want to, put him in the Anthony Davis zone of where you're just terrified to play him. But I think it's something to look at, especially with some of these other really safe, expensive plays.
Agreed. And then kind of going Sacramento side, Rudy Gay, just kind of looking at his past matchups and usage, I think in a different matchup he would be in cash play regardless of Boogie, and especially without Boogie. But, that Jimmy Butler matchup is a little worrisome.
Yeah, it's a lot tougher. He's obviously much stronger at play on DK. He's 800 less there. And yeah, I agree. It's not an ideal spot for him, obviously. If Boogie's out, I think you can still look at him on DK. But on FanDuel, a bit more hesitant.
Yeah, I think if Boogie's out, I think I would suck up the matchup and still use him in cash.
Probably, yeah. I probably agree with that.
But I think I prefer him in tournaments if my roster could get that way. Rondo, I think, is fine in tournaments. His price is a little high for me at 8.4.
Oh, yeah. I love Rondo in tournaments. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And if Boogie's out, I definitely like Koof as a cash game play.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I think he'll pay off 4K pretty easily against.
I just think it's worth it to pay the extra to get Jordan Hill with
I agree.
A much easier matchup. So Koufos, I'm not expecting big minutes out of, especially near Jordan Hill's minutes. What about Bellinelli? He played 36 minutes last game.
Yeah. I think that he's definitely in tournament play for sure.
3,800, and I think that's dirt cheap if we can assume he's trying to start again.
Yeah,
obviously that will depend on Cousins. So this is a scenario we might not know in time, especially if they kind of give Boogie the game time decision tag. That would make things a bit more interesting to where I don't think you really want to risk a lot of these players if Boogie's game time decision. But we could see news that he's ruled out well beforehand, so especially after shoot around.
Yeah, and I worry about Bellinelli's upside. I mean, he could easily, if he.
It's a much worse matchup, obviously, than the last game. So I'm not expecting those same points out of him.
Yeah, and he's very score independent, and kind of the matchup dictates where if he ever got to a point where scoring was an issue, they would just throw Jimmy on him, and that would be done. So
I have the same lines of thinking there. So I'm not really looking at him too much, but he's a viable.
There's worse things for sure. Yeah. Okay, let's hit last game here before we end it. Minnesota Clippers 207 is the total, and LA is 11-point favorites. So. News and notes. I don't think there's much here.
On the Wolves side, we got Kevin Martin is. I don't know if he's been ruled out yet tonight. He's unlikely to play Tuesday, and we can consider him questionable for Wednesday. Pekovic is likely out a few games with a foot injury, and then Kevin Garnett was out Tuesday, questionable Wednesday. We can assume. So got a couple of guys to monitor there. I think it helps if Pekovic out and KG, if he's out again, I think it helps Jang quite a bit. So
sure. Yeah, no, that's true. That's fair.
He's looking at pretty big minutes there. But yeah, outside of Jang, I think it's kind of same as usual for the most part as far as other players.
Yeah, so I think even on back-to-back, if those guys are out, obviously I think Towns and Jang are great plays, cash and tournament.
Yeah, Towns. I mean, he's matchup proof. So
he's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I like looking at him in cash. Again, it's one of those things you have You have Jordan Hill, who's cheap. You have Brooke Lopez, who's a great play, obviously, going against Jordan Hill. And then, we have Towns as well. So it's kind of probably the strongest three for me as far as centers, I think, considering in cash. And obviously you have a slew of other options for tournament exposure, kind of pivoting off these guys.
Yeah, I mean, you could go Rubio. Wiggins, I think, is an interesting play, given Clippers' lack of defense on the wing, or really any players on the wing.
Yeah, I like
Levine is kind of the same spot here.
Yeah, I'm not looking at Rubio too much here.
Rubio is the weakest of those, but Wiggins and Levine, I think, are interesting.
Yeah, Wiggins, Levine, and I think Gorgie is, I think, still really cheap on DK, which he's
5'7".
Oh, okay, so he got up there, and then he's.
I still think that's great.
55 on FanDuel, so he's cheaper on FanDuel now. Yeah, I don't think it's bad. Obviously, he's center on FanDuel, and he's center on DK too. Yeah, so I think it's fine. I don't think he's as much a cash game play, given the other center options probably.
Sure. Yeah,
I definitely like him. We saw big minutes out of him with these guys out or limited, so I think he's fine there.
Yeah. And then Clippers side, obviously Chris Paul, big usage, DeAndre, those are the guys that are shouldering the load with Blake out and all these guys out. So, DeAndre Jordan crushed it last game, had almost a 20-20, but it seems Chris Paul and DeAndre great plays here.
Yeah, they're the two you're looking at with Blake still out and likely out some more time. Isn't that suspension happening? Is that today or Wednesday? Did you see when they're going to announce it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I think it's tomorrow. I think they're announcing it Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm curious what it'll be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Do you remember what Latrell Sprewell got for choking out PJ? I don't remember. Times have changed. I could see him getting a decent suspension.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, definitely check on that.
But I'm with you.
It's not like he'll be back anytime soon anyway.
No, yeah. So I'm just curious is all. Yeah. Curiosity got to me. DeAndre though I think is fine. Again, we just talked about centers. I don't. It's
just loaded tomorrow.
Yeah, it is. I think he's a fine tournament play. We just kind of saw his massive upside last game, which was really nice. I think Chris Paul's fine, but again, there are other point guards that are, I think, a bit safer.
And 9-6 is tough, yeah.
Not really double-digit favorites either, so.
Yeah. What do you think of Crawford or Redick? Has some tournament.
I always lean Crawford.
Yeah.
I think he's.
Yeah, and I don't mind Crawford.
Really, so it's just, both of them are kind of the same in that they just only score, so it's kind of tough to really go either of them in either format often.
Yeah. So kind of Chris and DeAndre, that's about it.
Pretty much.
Cool. All right. Let's kind of quickly run through these positions, and I'll start with point guard, and I'll let you go shooting guard, and we'll kind of run.
You always take point guard, man.
Yeah. Well.
No, it's fun. Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So starting at the top, Westbrook and Curry, I think we're both great options. I think we would lean Westbrook a little bit more, but if you need the savings, if you'd love your lineup, you need that $300, Curry is fine. Going down, John Wall is a great tournament option. Chris Paul, if you need to pivot off, is fine as well. Rondo, it's tournament. Thomas is tournament, but we kind of like him a little bit less in this matchup, especially on a back-to-back. Drew is fine. Reggie is fine. We love Kyrie in cash. Rubio, Rose. These guys are kind of iffy tournament plays. Teague, we really like kind of riding the hot hand. He'll be really so, maybe go in cash, but maybe fade a little bit in tournaments because of that. Norris Cole had the hot hand, but I think that's a little points chasing, so I would probably fade a little bit there. Lynn, if you want to get sneaky, especially if Kemba's out and you want to go in tournaments, I'm fine with that at 5'4". Marcus Smart, I really like. In tournaments, Levine, I'm fine with him. Schroeder is a really contrarian play if you want to get off T and think that it's going to be a blowout. And then kind of going down, there's not a lot of not much there. After that, I'm kind of finishing up. Yeah, that's it. So I'll let you take it for shooting guard.
Yeah, I'm jealous that you got the point guard. Shooting guard is just always ugly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll start with Butler. I think he's fine in both formats. I think if you can afford him, he's a good cash play, really safe. High floor here, especially against Sacramento. Clay, kind of same boat. I think he's cash. You're fine with him in cash. I think he's fine cash too, going against Washington. Obviously, a great spot for 3-point shooters. Wade, I think, makes for an interesting cash play on DK, not as much on FanDuel. And then we're slightly worried about the back-to-back for him just because he's an old man now. Monte, he's been playing really well. I think he's still a bit more of a tournament play here. 6,900. Oladipo, I don't mind for tournaments. Probably my favorite tournament play on Orlando's side.
Mm-hmm.
Wiggins, I think, is a great tournament play. We brought up the lack of kind of wing defenders that the Clippers have. Hood, I think, is an interesting spot for kind of cash. I don't think he's like the strongest cash play, but he's in the equation. I think he's a fine option. Avery Bradley, if you're going to go anyone in cash on Boston, but we kind of like the Detroit perimeter defense there, so not too high on him. I don't think we brought up Will Barton. I think he's an interesting tournament play, though. Just going back. We've seen his minutes spike a little bit, but still overall quite consistent. Pope, a little bit of a tournament play, but I worry about the upside against with the matchup. Let's see. We got it drops off hard. Crawford maybe in some tournament. They're 11-point favorites. You could see a spike in minutes there. Waiters, I don't like to recommend. I know he's cheaper on FanDuel. Some people are going to go him, especially after last game. He paid his price up by a lot, but I'm not too high on him. Felton, I think, makes for an interesting kind of tournament play if Darren is out and Devin Harris. They're really thin there. After that, Bellinelli, more so on FanDuel, dirt cheap. Not the best matchup, obviously. We kind of talked about his downside and floor, so not too high on him, but he's an option. After that, don't think there's anyone.
Cool. All right, let's keep on going to small forward, which you think shooting guards is rough. Even rougher.
At least they're like cash plays at small forward. Like who out of all those guys, who's your strongest cash play at shooting guard? It's brutal. Like pay up really, or pay for it.
Yeah. So small forward, Kevin Durant, I think is fine in cash if you want to pay up. LeBron, same deal, but I'm not. I think I'd go Durant in cash if I had to. George is definitely in tournament right now. Kawhi's struggling, so he's more tournament for me. Gordon Hayward, I think, is kind of that mid-price guy if you want to get in cash. He's 7.5. Rudy Gay is interesting. I think I'm okay in cash, but
on DK,
yeah, on DK 7.2. I think I'm okay, kind of regardless, especially if Boogie's out. Tournament if he is in. Parsons, I like in tournaments, even against that Miami matchup. I know it's tough, but interesting. Gallo, I think they're better options, but if you want to go tournament, Covington I think is a really interesting tournament option. I like him against Atlanta. He's been playing some pretty good ball lately. If you go down, Tobias Harris is okay. Aaron Gordon is my favorite Orlando tournament play. You like Oladipo, I like Aaron Gordon here at 5.4 on DK, and then keep on going down. There's not whole lot here other than that until we get maybe to Michael Kidd-Gilchrist at 4.5. I think we both like, especially if Batum and Kemba's out. He'll play a lot of minutes and have to do some stuff. So that's about it. It's pretty ugly after that. I don't think there's anyone that's even playable. So kick it to you for power forward, then I'll finish with center.
Cool. Yeah, we got Boogie at the top. I think obviously depending on his status, if he plays, I'm still a little hesitant to kind of just point him a cash game play. He's obviously an expensive price. I do like the matchup for him, though, so I think he's up there. I like him more as a tournament play. He could still be slightly limited on that ankle. He did roll it twice last game, so that's something to kind of be concerned with. Anthony Davis, I think, is in a great tournament spot, really low ownership here, and a matchup that we've seen without Duncan is beatable. Draymond, I think, is in cash. I think he's a cash game play, but out of the Golden State guys, we kind of like him the least as far as cash compared to Clay and Curry, given prices and position and whatnot. Millsap, I think, is cash, but kind of the same thing with Draymond, that I think Teague is a stronger cash game play given his price. And then obviously Horford, I like a little bit more of a tournament play, but I think Millsap's fine in both formats. Bosch, limited to tournament. probably tournament only here. Kevin Love, I think, is a cash game play as well, especially at that price that I think is underpriced given the way they're looking to get him the ball lately. Aldridge, I lean more tournament play just for blowout purposes. I'm worried about. Favors, again, kind of tournament play. Lean a little bit more tournament play. Love the matchup, though, so I think you can get away with him in cash. Nerlens, we're not really high on with Okafor back in the starting lineup. Ryan Anderson, I think you can do tournament skin, playing really well. Not like a brutal matchup really or anything as much anymore. Dirk, probably very limited tournament exposure for him against Miami. Thad, you can have some tournament exposure to. Ibaka, we like a lot for tournaments. Definitely not cash. After that, Taj, I think, is more fine on FanDuel for cash. Not too terrible on DK as well. Jordan Hill at 5,500 power forward on DK, not center. I think he's still fine, but obviously I prefer his cheaper price on FanDuel for cash. Tristan, I think, is fine for cash, given his solid minutes. Amari, not terrible cash game play. I'm not going to go him, but I think he's cheaper on FanDuel, so you can look at him there if you need to save a little bit more on some of these other guys. After that,
ugly.
Yeah, we get Chris Humphries, who is going to play tomorrow after I called him out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anyone after that.
Cool. All right, I'll finish with center. Loaded. So Pau Gasol, cash. Drummond, cash. Towns, cash. Gordon, cash. Brook Lopez, cash. Vooch. Tournament, but Gobert, compared, I guess, was tournament. Gortat is tough. Maybe a fade there. Horford, tournament. Miles Turner, cash, tournament. Okafor, tournament. Zaza, Jang, I like in cash and tournament. You like more tournament. We like.
I think I lean Jang cash. I'm with you there. Yeah,
okay.
He's a strong cash play.
Jokic, we like in tournaments, just kind of riding the hot hand. I guess you could go some Cantor in tournaments here.
Yeah, I agree.
Koof, maybe if Boogie's out, but that's even still kind of an in play. Boban's always in play. And then kind of going down, that's about it. But ton of center options here. So take your pick, really.
Yeah, or a lot. On DK, there's a good chance I roll two centers.
I think it's definitely not a good
Yeah, I mean, this is straw night. And then, center. I just want to make a lot of lineups just so I can use all these centers.
Because you could go Jordan Hill at power forward and then still go two centers.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably the way to do it, honestly.
Yeah. Cool.
And then tournaments, you can definitely pivot off a lot of these guys. Be pretty highly on.
Cool. All right, we will end it there. Thanks, Jay. We will wish you good luck in your tournaments and cash and stuff tomorrow. And then I think you and Pete are going to be on for Thursday.
Yeah, good luck, everyone. And Pete and I will see you guys on Thursday.
All right, guys, good luck. Take care, and we'll talk to you guys later.